Okay, guys, here it is. This is my big reveal, my big moment of utter uncomfortableness and discomfort and vulnerability and shame and embarrassment and all the things. If you don't already know me, I'm Gretchen Jacobs. I am a certified health and wellness coach. I'm a certified fat loss coach, and I'm a certified life coach. And I, I'm embarrassed to say this. I'm going to share this, and it's on the skirt tails of Oprah's special last night. I don't know if anyone watched it, but it was on last night, which was March 18th. And she's talking about shame and blame around weight loss and or the inability to lose weight. So the thing I'm about to share with you truly is, it is something I've guarded and been embarrassed about and a little bit ashamed of. And it's because I am a certified fat loss coach, a certified health and wellness coach, and also a certified life coach. And I feel like I should know better and I shouldn't need this. But the big secret is, and I got to tell you, even my boys don't know this. My sister doesn't know this. My best friend doesn't know this. Only two people, my husband and my medical provider, know this. So I'm saying it to you guys because I want to start changing the conversation and narrative around weight loss, obesity, and the struggle to lose weight. So I am Gretchen Jacobs. I am a certified fat loss coach. I am a certified health and wellness coach. I am a certified life coach, and I am taking a weight loss drug. I am on Ozempic. Deep breath. It's a lot for me to put out there. So, I'm doing it, as I said, because I want to talk about weight loss. I want to talk about not weight loss, and I want to talk about what happens around that. So let us start with that, which is what are some of the emotions that come along with the inability to lose weight? Or lose weight and then gain it back. And so you have that yo-yo, like the inconsistency to really change your life. And for me, some of those feelings are shame, embarrassed, nervous, scared, right? I've had those like, oh my God, if this doesn't work, then what, right? Exposed, obviously incredibly vulnerable. I've been filled with the fear of failure, the feelings of failure, like I'm not good enough, like what the fuck is wrong with me? I coach on this. I've done it, and yet I still gain it back. There's a lot of yucky feelings around that. And then there's all of these personal things like not socializing because of my body, because I can't shop in clothing stores. So, like where they have the styles I like, because they don't really make my size, or you don't look the way you want to look, or your self esteem is just way too in the dumps. Or God forbid, there's photos being taken, right? Like, or your sex life is in the pits, because let's face it, if you don't like the way you look, why would you want anyone else to look at you? Right? Like, just overall, like I have been in a place where I was so very not happy with my life, certainly let alone enjoying my life or thriving in my life. Like, not at all. I've been in a place where my marriage was hanging by a thread, where I couldn't dress in a way that really reflected the real me, really in a very dark place about myself and my worth, ashamed of myself and my behavior, um, like truly thinking there was a character flaw. Like I didn't want to go out to be with my family or in the public. And I want to stop right here and just say there are two things that you usually hear in response to this. So if you are brave enough to actually say these things to someone, to a confidant that you trust, a friend, whatever it is, you hear, I would say, two things about that, right? Which is, well, then why don't you do something about it? And the other thing is like, this one really gets me. First of all, so why don't you just go do something about it? And second of all, well, maybe this is just your body's natural weight. And listen, there are some people who are very happy. Like some people would love where I am right now. Some people would have been very happy with where I was 20 pounds ago, or, vice versa. If you are happy in your skin, awesome. I happen to still need to want to lose some weight. And this has been a lifelong struggle for me since probably about 13. And I have to tell you, when I hear that from people, not my current medical providers, they are both phenomenal, but I have heard that like, well, maybe this is just your body's natural size. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. It isn't. Because I know I don't feel my best. And I know this is impacting my quality of life, like how I'm experiencing and living my life altogether. So when we hear those two responses of like, well, maybe this is just your body's natural size, A, F off, it's not. And B, well, why don't you just go do something about it? What happens with that? That is exactly where the shame and the blame and lies about weight loss ability come into play. It's the indication that being overweight is a lack of willpower. Like, let's just say that again. There is an overall societal belief that being overweight is a lack of willpower. And we know this to be true because aren't we all just told, like, just restrict your calories, just get into a calorie deficit, just restrict your calorie intake, eat less, exercise more, calories in, calories out. It's just math. Like you just have to get into a caloric restriction, right? So in other words, if you're fat, you're lazy. Like just go to the gym, right? So in other words, if you're fat, you're lazy. Just go to the gym. Just eat less. And that's the solution. You just suck at willpower. That's the underlying message. That's the shame that gets assigned to people who struggle with weight loss. And then what happens? Then those of us who have struggled with weight loss, we're treated differently. And if you're one of me, you know this. How are we treated? Do people treat me differently when I'm overweight? Yep. Do I treat my husband differently when I'm not feeling great? Yep. Do people treat our kids, the children of obese people, do they treat them differently? Yeah. It's terrible. And the really sad thing, I believe, is that it's twofold. First, it's all based on a total and complete lie, a complete and total lack of education. It is indoctrination, which means the process of teaching a person or a group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically, not challenging them. And we are marginalized, right? Like we're judged. We're made to feel less than. We're made to feel lazy. We just don't want it bad enough. We are unhappy. We think something is wrong with us. We think that we are less than. We are depressed. We are not only not enjoying life, we are hiding from life. We are unhealthy. Some of us become suicidal. Like truly, we are not enjoying life. We are certainly not inspired. We are so unhappy and so stuck and then so full of self-doubt and thinking we have some character flaw. But that is not what's really going on. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about. There's really good news here. On the other end of all that awfulness, there's good news. Let's talk about what's really going on. What's going on is that our brains control how much body fat we have. Listen, our brains control how much body fat we have. So our brains control what is either happening or not happening in our bodies. We don't have the correct hormones in our bodies working if we are overweight. We don't know fullness. We don't digest the same way as a healthy brained body does. We don't experience food the same way as a healthy brained body does. Our brains are what I like to call unhealthy, in the sense that they're not working the typical way that a healthy bodied brain would. Okay. And so I like to talk about this, or kind of like think, demonstrate this in two conversations, maybe three. Our family has unfortunately experienced suicide of a friend. And in our conversations, it has definitely been said, like, I don't understand it. I just can't get my head around it. Like, I'll never be able to understand this. And my response has been, you're right. And we will never understand. And our brains will never be able to wrap our heads around this, because our brains aren't sick in that manner. Our brains don't offer that as an option. But to someone who is not in a healthy brain state in that moment, that's an option. So because our brains are not in that sick state, which there's nothing wrong with that, we can get help for that. A healthy brain can't wrap our heads around it. We can't understand it. The same is true with alcoholism. I just had this conversation with a friend of mine. And by the way, like, I'm a non-drinker. I don't drink. I haven't drank in 4+ years. But I was saying, we were talking about someone and they had been hospitalized from alcoholism and pancreatitis and liver failure. And, people lose a lot with alcoholism. I mean, they lose homes and jobs and spouses and children and freedom. I mean, lots of people make it to jail with alcoholism, and or their lives. They lose their lives. And so I was saying, even though I'm a non-drinker, I was like, I just can't even imagine. My brain can't understand like how someone could drink themselves to that state. And then I heard myself answering myself like, well, of course, because my brain isn't sick with alcoholism. I don't have that disease. And so I think it's really a good way to look at that, of like, oh yeah. And so the same is true with weight loss, right? Like, our brains aren't working the way that we know that they should be to help support long-standing permanent weight loss. And I'll tell you this, my mom was a great example of this, my late mom. My mother, as wonderful as she was, like, the noise in her head about food was constant. We would be having breakfast and she'd be like, okay, so what do you guys want to do for lunch? And then we would get through that conversation. She'd be like, and what should we do for dinner? And then we'd be like having a morning snack and she'd be like, okay. So she'd replan the meals. All, like, it was definitely what the conversations always revolved around. It was just, she couldn't change the narrative in her brain. Right. And so, like, the same is kind of true. I mean, I've definitely had this. I used to wonder, like, how do average weight fit people, how could they just eat half a bagel, right? Or pass on dessert, or not want all the food at the buffet. Like, I was so amazed at their willpower. I was like, oh my God, that's fascinating. And what the fuck is wrong with me that I can't, like, muster the willpower? Right? Once again, like, confirming that I had this character flaw. But the good news is that what we know now is that it's not willpower. It's that it's not a willpower thing. If you're a healthy, fit person who does not have a weight problem, you don't think about it. You don't have to have willpower. You just don't think about it. That was like earth-shattering news to me, because I just thought everyone walked around with that chatter. And the chatter is things like this, like, okay, we're going out for dinner tonight, so I got to make sure, like, what am I going to eat there? I should look on the menu, have that all planned out. Okay. And then, well, geez, I should really count my calories today, because if we're going out tonight, and am I going to have dessert? I don't want to have dessert because that's too many calories, but it's my birthday and I should celebrate and I'm allowed to, but no, you look how fat you are. And oh my God, I don't even have anything to wear. And, I mean, when both of my parents died, they both now unfortunately passed. Both times I was like, oh my God, what the fuck am I going to put on my body? I don't have anything black that I actually like. Like, the chatter is nonstop. But what I have learned and what I want to talk about this is that people with healthy bodied brains, they don't have willpower. They don't have the noise. They don't have the chatter. Their brains are not occupied with that. And that is where the new weight loss medications come in to play, which is really good news. Okay. So let's talk about why that is the case. So there is a hormone called GLP-1 that is released in the gastrointestinal tract in response to eating. But in a body that has atypical GLP-1, or a body who has a very difficult time losing weight, our brains and our guts don't work like that. Isn't that interesting? They don't work optimally like the other ones. That's why I like to call this a sick brain, like I said before. Okay? It's not that we don't have willpower. It's not that we have a character flaw. It's just that we actually don't have the brains and the hormones working optimally. Okay? So the weight loss drug called semaglutide is like Ozempic or Wegovy or whatever. That semaglutide mimics what would normally be going on in our body, and it works on multiple levels. Okay? So it works on our brain, reducing food noise and chatter. It works on our gut to slow digestion. So we experience fullness and satiation much sooner, so we eat less. And then it also helps with insulin levels. And I'm not an MD, so there's probably other things that it does that I don't know, but those are the biggies, the big three. So people suffering from the disease of obesity, GLP-1 does not function the way in which we know it should. So I do want to say very clearly, obesity, being overweight, is a disease. It is not a character flaw. And I know this and can prove this to be true. 2 reasons I'm going to give you. This is why bariatric surgery alone does not work. Unless we address the other multifaceted contributors, you will gain the weight back. And I can tell you that is true because I have known multiple people who have had bariatric surgery up to 3 or 4 times. They have it done, they lose the weight, they gain it back. They have it done again, they lose the weight, they gain it back. It's because they just fix the gut. They literally, and again, when people are like, you just don't want it bad enough. Listen, people will get half their guts cut out to lose weight. People want it desperately. They just can't because their brains aren't functioning healthy, right? So when we just cut out the gut, it won't work sustainably because we haven't tackled the brain and the noise and the wanting and the desire. The other example is myself. I am a certified fat loss coach. I'm a certified health and wellness coach. I'm a certified life coach. Like I should 100% know better, right? Like that's where my shame stems from. I've lost weight and then I gain it back. I've lost weight and gained muscle and then I gain it back. I have felt good and then I go back into hell zone. And that's where all of the self-doubt and the chatter, right? I'm like, I should know better. What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm so weak. My body is broken. My body just doesn't work like other bodies. The medicine won't work on me, right? But the meds, the medicine, semaglutide, the chatter, the noise in your head is removed almost instantly. And they help the gut. And they help your hormones. Okay? But let's talk about what happens if you go off the meds. And then let's talk about, is there anything you can do to make the meds work faster while you're on them, if you get on them? So my answer is yes. If you go off the meds and you have not done any of the other multifaceted work, the weight will come back. And yes, there is something you can do to make the medicine work more efficiently, more effectively, which is, again, really good news. I'm taking a sip of water. Hang on. Okay. So, good news. Yes, you can fix the brain stuff. And yes, you can do other interventions and multifaceted things to make this a long-standing change. And yes, there are things you can do to make the medicine work more effectively. And that is where I come in. That is where I am different. That is where my coaching is different. That is where my fat loss program is different. That is where my faster way to fat loss version 2.0 is different, because I am combining this multifaceted approach. So the meds take care of the chatter and the noise and the brain and the wanting. The also takes care of the gut and also takes care of your hormones. But as I said, when you go off of them and you haven't learned how to stop the chatter, and you haven't learned how to fuel your body while you're on the meds to make it work more effectively, you're probably going to gain the weight back. Okay. So to gain a healthy weight for people with GLP that are not functioning sufficiently, it's not just a diet or a pill or a shot. It is complex. It is tackling the mental stuff. That is the desire, the want, the need. It is tackling the physical stuff of like actually making your body function in a way that starts to lose weight. And then it's also being smart with your exercise, strategic with your exercise, and eating whole foods, well, good foods, eating enough to really fuel your body. And then the third thing is dealing with the societal indoctrination, the programming, the belief. Okay. So obviously, if you just start the meds and you don't tackle the other parts, and that's okay, you get to choose that, it's not as effective in a long-term, permanent transformation of your life. So what I do is we use it as a tool. Okay. It's a combined, multifaceted, multi-pronged, and I'm going to do 3-pronged approach. Okay. My 3 things are: we use smart physical exercise. We do not just do one thing over and over and over in a repetitive cycle, like Peloton, 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 run, 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 run. We do multiple things in very strategic ways. We eat whole foods to serve and fuel your body. And then we eat those things in ways in which we even better fuel and serve our bodies. And then you use results, life coaching, knowledge, skills, and practice. So with those 3 things, you have a beautiful multi-pronged approach. Again, like that's why I call with me and my faster way version 2.0. You will learn how to optimize your body's weight loss with me. Your doctor will help you find the correct medication dosage and also help wean you off of that when it's time. And then I help you with the life coaching resources that give you your brain freedom from food. Listen, I'm going to give you a very clear example of freedom and how life coaching strategies, knowledge, and practice can give you freedom. As I said, I don't drink by choice. I did not have a problem with it, but I had a lot of noise in my head about drinking, a lot of chatter and noise, and a lot of energy and brain space being taken up because I drank. So let me give you an example. There would be things like, okay, I feel a little yucky this morning because I overdrank last night. So I'm not going to drink today. And then by the time I was driving home, I would be like, there's no way I can't drink today. I have to drink. But I said I wasn't going to drink. I don't want to drink. I'm not going to drink. Honey, can you just have a glass of wine ready for me when I get home? I don't know. Do you think I should? I've had a hard day. I deserve it, right? But why do I deserve it? I shouldn't do that. When I get home and I'm like, do you think I drink too much? Am I over drinking? Is this bad? Maybe I shouldn't drink. But I definitely have to have a drink. I'm only going to have 2. But then I have 3. And then I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm so bad. Holy shit. Maybe I'm spending too much money. Maybe I have a problem. Do I have a problem? Do you think I have a problem? I'm totally functioning. Like, that's just seconds of what would go on in my brain about alcohol. Okay. I quit alcohol and I didn't quit alcohol. I completely removed my desire, my need, and my want for alcohol. Not with any medication, not with a 12-step program. I have complete freedom around booze from using my life coaching strategies. And so I had this brainstorm of like, holy shit, if I could do that with alcohol. And by the way, I was the girl who was like, there's no way you can have a family dinner and have fun without booze. Like, I was like, I have to have the wine, right? Like, I was like, oh, we're having family dinner. Honey, do we have Chablis? We better get to Chablis. It was the first thing that came to my mind. So I was like, there's no way you can have fun and enjoy life and be a good time without booze. Like, that's how I thought. And I removed my want, need, and desire through life coaching to the point now where I'm like, I don't care about booze. I don't want it. We have booze in the house. I go out to bars. I go to happy hour. I go networking. People are drinking wine around me. I don't care. Like, I just don't want it. So if you combine that with medication and then the other fueling your body and strategic exercise and strategic food, which by the way, you eat quite a lot, you are going to kill this new life. You're going to drop weight like you can't believe. And that, working with me, prepares you for a life full of health and energy and engagement and fitness and thriving, like truly inspired living. And I got to tell you, like, I've been really thinking about, like, what's that inspired living? What does that mean? And have I ever lived inspired before? Before I started Wegovy and like really had this transformation, I'm not on Wegovy, sorry, I'm on Ozempic. And I was like, God, I honestly don't think that I can say I lived inspired since I've been 13. I'm sure I know I've been happy. I know I've been excited. I know I've been like so full of joy and love, right? I met my husband and had our boys and we bought our dream house. And, you know, I've had successful practices and just all really positive things. But inspired? No, because I've always had chatter and noise and self-doubt and full of thinking I had a character flaw, that I was embarrassed and should be full of shame because I'm a certified fat loss coach and I couldn't keep the weight off. Right? Like, but we get to remove that. Like, this is the opportunity. And by the way, in losing weight, you gain so much more in terms of your life and how you engage in your life and how you live your life than health. There's so much more. Like, I have more energy. I'm more excited. I'm more engaged. I parent, like, I'm so proud of my parenting and how I am a wife and a sister and friend. Like, it is amazing when you quiet the food noise and you get rid of the desire to eat. It gives you your life back because it gives you your brain back. You all of a sudden have space and quiet and fun, and you're social and you dress in a way that reflects you, and the shame is gone and there's no more hiding. You're a better friend to yourself. You're a better spouse or girlfriend or partner, way better parent, as I said. completely different level of parenting. You're free from food. You're free from noise. You're free from shame and self-doubt and character flaws. You're free from chatter. Like you're finally in control. You are in the driver's seat for the first time, maybe ever. Like no more using food to cope. No more hiding. No more avoiding. You're just free and happy and excited and feel great. You get to live inspired for maybe the first time ever. And so I wanted to jump on and give you these 30 minutes. Thank you for sharing your 30 minutes with me to change the conversation, to change the narrative, to start talking about this and to start asking questions. I will answer them. Please reach out. I'm always hosting a new round of the Faster Way. So I'm really excited to walk you through using the tools, the trifecta of tools of the medication, of appropriate fat loss and muscle building strategies and life coaching strategies and knowledge and practice. We integrate that into this multifaceted approach to change the way we live our lives. Like, that's amazing. It's amazing. You need 3 things: a medical provider to help you with the medical supervision around a medication. You need me to, you sign up with me for a 6-week program of food and exercise protocols through the Faster Way. And then you sign up with me for life coaching tools and strategies. 3 things. In 6 weeks, your life could be very, very, very different. I'm proof. My clients are proof. Thousands of people are proof of this. So please reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to jump on and answer anything. We can even have a phone call or a Zoom call. Talk to you soon.